I've been talking about flexibility this week and how if you relax your joints, that's a fantastic key to become more flexible. But also if you practice the efficient body method, so the 4 principles, number 2, aligning the bones is going to make you more flexible. And this is because when you align your bones in proper structure, the weight travels through the centers of the joints. So often the weight is not traveling through the center of the joint. And imagine a building where the weight isn't going through the centers of the joints. So this is rather extreme, but look, this is a building where the weight is not going through the centers of the joints, and it's wreaking havoc. So when weight isn't going through the centers of joints, like let's imagine like for the hip joint, right? Let's say the weight isn't going through the center of the hip joint. Instead, it's like always going to the outside. As someone's walking, their weight is constantly going to the outside of their hip joint. Well, the weight isn't then traveling down through the leg. Instead, it's going out to the side with every step. This is a bit extreme, but you can see how the weight is going out to the sides instead of down through the legs because the hip joint isn't aligned to allow the weight to go through the center of the joint. What happens as a result of this, a result of the weight not going through the centers of the joints, is that our muscles have to compensate and manage this misaligned weight. And oftentimes we end up using muscles that weren't even designed for the task that they've now been given. For example, if our head is jutted forward over our spine, I am so guilty of this. You can see my huge neck muscles that have to hold up this 10 to 15 pounds of my head like over the center line of my spine. And they weren't even designed for that. They were designed for articulate, detailed movement of the head, right? But instead, I've given them the task of holding up my head away from gravity. So what happens is this blocks our joints because some muscles have to work extra hard to manage the misalignment of the weight, and that decreases our flexibility. So if you align your bones, the more you align your bones with the 3-step process of aligning your pelvic plane, stacking the curves of your spine, and then aligning your legs and feet, which I have that in more detail in previous videos. If you do that, then eventually your joints are going to become more relaxed and more open, and you will become more flexible.